This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview.
Well, joining us today is Kyle Bennett, the head of operations for Aura Carbon. Thank you very much for joining us again, Kyle. How are you?
I'm well, Mark. How are you?
Yes, very good, thank you. Of course, last time we spoke was the first time speaking to you at Aura, getting a bit of an idea of where you've come from, but also what Aura Carbon is all about, and of course the launch of the app, which is your product. It's what we've been waiting for, and of course today, news that you have indeed done a beta launch. So, first of all, tell me how you're feeling about that. It's probably been quite a long time coming.
Yeah, my goodness, that's an understatement, I think. But yeah, a long time coming. We're very excited and very proud to be launching a public beta for iOS users today. So interested parties can go to the App Store and download the Aura Carbon app. And in fact, we want our first customers to have such a great experience that as part of this process, once you're in the app and you've created your account, actually to get started in trading, you book a call with me, and we have a walkthrough of the app and of the voluntary carbon markets and just sort of how to trade and what's involved. But as you mentioned, it's been a steady march up into this point, but we are just so thrilled to be able to offer the public beta today.
Okay, so the public beta, that means it's not. There might still be some teething problems. Is it almost like a test? Yeah, and are you looking to scale up?
Yeah, that's correct. It's certainly a complex undertaking to introduce a new market type and a new commodity type to retail investors. And so we felt that the public beta just gave us that much more understanding for those small teething issues that may come up, as you say. But so much work and polish has been put in. We're really happy with the product as it stands even right now.
Oh, good. Really good. So in terms of the sort of onboarding process, you talked there about having a sort of a call with you. Is this to really, to try and get the best experience, I suppose, is one thing from the user's point of view. You do want to hit that ground running, make sure people have a good experience, but also to get valuable feedback, presumably, as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. As we talked about on the Market Musings podcast, just the importance of experience and creating something that was white glove for our first customers to be ecstatic and excited about. Part of this mission is also education. And so there's a lot of terminology and concepts in the voluntary carbon market that the average person maybe hasn't come across in their day-to-day life. And so this is the chance to really have that one-on-one educational touch point to make sure that they get a really easy and fun experience in downloading the Aura Carbon app.
Excellent. Well, just thinking on sort of education and also what's going on at the moment, there's COP28, isn't there, that's happening sort of right now? Have you done this to time with that, or is it just a coincidence?
I think COP28 was an important milestone on our calendar. And so we're happy to have had the stars align as they have and launch at this time. There's already been so much news coming out of COP around the importance of the carbon markets and of pricing carbon and new initiatives that are coming along the way to see additional uptake for more and more countries and organizations to participate in purchasing carbon and seeing it priced appropriately. So what better time than COP to introduce the exchange, the app, the product that allows retail investors to participate in that market in a way that they've never been able to before.
Okay. Well, a big thing I noticed from the RNS, we've talked about this before, of course, is breaking down the barriers, because at the moment, really, carbon credits are only accessible to businesses and institutions, whereas this is giving the retail investor an opportunity to take part and get exposure to this emerging asset class. And you can start with a minimum of £1. So it's really as simple as that, is it? Could you give us an idea of perhaps what's available in the app at the moment in terms of the different credits people can get into and just a little bit of how it could work?
Yeah. So That's a great thing to point out, that there's such diversity of project types and credit types that to make the experience straightforward, we started with a sort of a curated collection. So we have a peatlands project, which is sort of an avoided emissions project. We're tracking a cook stoves project and also a blue carbon project. So 3 very different kind of project types that allow investors to purchase carbon credits. And we selected those ones specifically because they are popular with corporate buyers. So there's demand for them. And also they hold their value relatively well. Obviously there's daily fluctuations in the carbon market, but these are strong projects that do perform well. So it's as easy as really just choosing one of those projects, choosing the amount of tonnage, which is how credits are sort of measured, and then purchasing them. And so it couldn't really be more simple than that. Yeah.
And in terms of perhaps investors or people using the app to learn about these different ones, is that found in the app or through the website? Where can people read about these peatlands, the blue carbon, etc. you mentioned?
Absolutely. So both. The app has access to our learning content, which you can also find at auracarbon.com. We have quite a few pieces on just the kind of 101 of the carbon markets, but also a little bit more detail on different project types like blue carbon, so that investors can kind of understand the nuances associated with each project type and make a decision for themselves if that's what they want to invest in.
Okay. And in terms of you're currently now in the beta launch, have you got a timeline for this when you want to be going perhaps to full rollout? And of course, the Android people will want to know as well when that's on its way.
Yeah, I mean, our goal right now is to get, as you mentioned, valuable feedback from that first cohort of users. And we're really focused on that. We want to have a dialogue with everyone who's getting started to understand what they like, what they don't like, what's the experience been in terms of investing in carbon. We'll look at Android and a broader public launch at some time in 2024. We won't wait too long, but our primary goal here is to get a good understanding of who our users are and what they think of the experience.
Great. And if people would like to take part in this beta launch, this experience, how can they perhaps do that?
Yeah, visit auracarbon.com. You can follow the links there, or go to the iOS App Store, search Aura Carbon, download the app, sign up for your account, and you can get started.
Perfect. If I can just ask you perhaps a final question, because I know there's 2 sides to the business here. There's the consumer side, and then there's the investor side, the share listing. Where's the focus of the business activities, the corporate activities at the moment? What's taking your time, and what are the team working on?
Yeah, so we're working on this launch. That's taken so much of our time up until this point. And what's really critical, where we're spending the next little while, is just listening. And of course, addressing any issues that come up in the app immediately. So all hands are on deck for launch. And then we're going to see an ideally successful public beta launch, and then we'll move to our next projects from there.
Okay, so it really is about that experience, as we've talked about before, and getting that launch correct. Well, thank you very much for your time today. Carl Bennett, the Head of Operations at Aura Carbon.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.